Hello, everyone. It's Thursday, July 16th. It's a little after 8 a.m. I was up a little late last night, sick, and ended up logging in a little late and had to send you guys a text message while I was online. But anyways, I'm okay now, and I apologize for being a few minutes late. But here's the video where I introduce you to this week's lab. Remember, last time we met, I just gave you an assignment of doing the practice test several times, in very specific ways. You can see that in my video on YouTube for July 14th to check that. But you're supposed to do that in lieu of last week's lab, specifically because I wanted you guys to use the practice test. Not everybody's doing the practice test, which is a little concerning to me because I put a lot of work into the practice test for you guys to be able to be successful on your tests, and I wanted to make sure everybody saw the benefits of it because there's a huge overlap between the online test and the actual face-to-face test and the practice test that I make. So I just wanted y'all to get another opportunity to see that in hopes that y'all would consider always taking the practice test. But anyways, now this week's lab is Newton's second law. And in order for you to do that, I've opened up the module for that for this week. Let me go ahead and share my screen with you, and we'll start from there. Okay, so this is our course module. I'm going to scroll down to this week's lab, which is week 9. It's July 6, or week 7, week 8, week 9. Here's week lab 9 module. Uh, Uh, so week 9 lab module, basically we're doing Newton's second law. This is a video link that'll actually show you how we did the lab, and it actually gives you the data. So unlike other times where we sometimes had a document and that had the data included in it if we were doing this type of lab, then in this lab you actually have to get it from the actual video. So when here's a look at what the video looks like, for instance. It's basically just this video right here. And we start off by showing you a video of the actual lab document. That's actually sufficient for you, believe it or not, to really read the whole lab if you wanted to. But we also give you the document itself. But anyways, that's the main thing regarding this is we just wanted to show you all the parts of the lab manual document itself. And then from there, we go on with me. There's me right there and Dr. Wright uh, orchestrating the lab. We're showing you exactly how we do it, how to take the data, that sort of thing. But then at the end of it, you can see we do the lab. I show you how I make the measurements. We show you how we take a couple of trials. We show you how we analyze it. Then we show you how we use interactive physics. And then after all that, you'll see that we actually put up the data. So, and notice this data is not necessarily the same data that we were taking in the video. Uh, so, for instance, these first trial numbers don't match the numbers that you just heard. This is the total weight that I measured, and that's critical because in this particular experiment, we're doing an Atwood machine type lab where we have a lab car, momentum cart sitting on top of a linear air track, and that cart has a certain amount of weight itself plus the weight on top of it, and then a string is connected to it, runs over a pulley, and then a certain amount of weight is hanging on that. That weight is actually just a hanger initially. But we do a trial, and that allows us to determine the acceleration. Obviously, we do 3 trials of the acceleration, and you can see the values turn out really good. So you can just take the average of that, and that's the stand-in for that particular weight difference from the data table. That gives you the acceleration. Then we take some of the weight from the actual cart, the little momentum cart on on the air track, and we take I think it was 2 5-gram plates from that cart, and we directly transfer them to the hanger. So the total mass has never changed. That's why we have a total mass here, 0.18815 kilograms. That never changes because we're constantly taking mass from the cart, putting it on the hanger so that the cart plus string plus hanger all weigh the same. So that's the way that lab is working. This is the data that you'll analyze, and Then we go on to part B, which is an interactive physics portion of the lab, and we explain how that part goes as well. And you can see here it shows you, for instance, different parts of the experiment that we're doing with the interactive physics, and it basically just gives us something by doing the interactive physics. It gives us something that we can uh, do that we couldn't do in the actual lab environment. Specifically, like if you wanted to change one variable that you couldn't change so easily, it's easily done with a simulated type program like this that obeys the laws of physics, and then you can run data on it. Of course, it's simulation, so there's no need to do multiple trials, and we actually give you the data as you can see in the words there, and then on that end we give you the data that you need for the interactive physics part as well. So that's the entirety of this lab. It's all given to you, the data. We show you the videos of how the data is taken. We show you the videos of how we actually do the simulation data as well, and then you go back to the actual document. Your job is to fill that all in. Remember, no black font typed. If you write it in handwritten, that's fine. It doesn't matter if it's black or not, but anything in that's typed has to be a font color other than black. Again, the main point being, excuse me. Again, the main point being that during a lab, when I go to grade it, I need to be able to look at it and immediately tell exactly what you entered into the lab versus what was on the lab document already. So that's why you always have to type with a font that's color other than black. And again, preferable colors like a darker blue, a medium blue is not bad either. Darker green or medium green. The main thing is not any of the fluorescent colors. No bright reds or bright yellows or bright blues or stuff like that, or fluorescent greens. So, anyways, just follow all the instructions I've given you on the few labs that have been graded. The rest of those should be graded probably over the next 5 or 6 days. I'll get all those finished, and that's it. That's the entirety of the lab. Once you're done with that document, this is probably this video right here is just the video that that other one came from, but I had a link there in case this link didn't work, so that's why that's there. You've got two different links to the same video. This is the lab document, and this is where you turn it in. Remember, it has to be a single PDF file. It has to have the entire lab in there. I still got people turning in labs that aren't complete. You have to actually turn in the entire lab document I give you completed, and then with the other things filled in like sample calculations and all that good stuff. So make sure y'all start doing that correctly. This will be due a week from today by 11:59 p.m. And that's it. Hope everybody understands what's going on with this lab, and I hope y'all have a good weekend. Don't forget, we do have an online test and a face-to-face test that are due this weekend. Of course, remember, face-to-face now in this context means you're taking it via Respondus Lockdown Browser and Respondus Monitor. Don't forget to show all your work. Don't forget to follow all the instructions. Don't forget to email me your shown work from the face-to-face test within 20 minutes after you submit the test. That's supposed to be a single PDF document with the photos of each page of work that you, with each page of work that you did. But that's not going to work, of course, unless you also follow the instructions during the Respondus video where you showed me the individual photos or the individual pages that you had done work on so that I can match and make sure they're the same ones that you did during the test. So again, you got 20 minutes uh, after you submit the test to take photos of those with your own camera and then make them into a PDF and send that to me. I want them all vertical, upright, not horizontal, not left, not right, not upside down. I want them in order, and I want them as a PDF. So please remember to do that. And again, you have about 20 minutes after your test to get that done. Thanks for coming, everybody. I hope that helped, and you all have a good weekend. And remember to text me or email me if you have any questions. And that's it. I'm going to stop sharing, and that's the lab for this week. Have a good day. We're almost done, and you're going to be very happy when the class is finally over. Bye bye.